Hey guys, my name is Nola and I'm a second year history student at UCL. In this video, I'm going to try to break down what you might be able to expect spending will be as a student here in London. I'm also going to have my friends come on camera to tell you themselves how much they spend because obviously it's going to vary a bit per person, so yep. I've also put on my Instagram story asking other UCL students how much they spend in a week, so stick to the end of the video to find out because I'm going to average what everyone spends to give you a true scientific answer. To keep things simple, I'm going to split up my spending into 4 categories, and I'm going to go through them in order of importance, as in what I know I definitely am going to need to spend versus things that are kind of just for fun. So in my first year at UCL, I was in Campbell House East, which is a student accommodation. So this is a self-catered accommodation and I paid about £180 a week. Now that I'm a second year, I have my own place and I pay $217 a week. The reason why it's quite a bit higher is actually because I have the biggest room in our flat right now. If we all paid evenly, like not according to room sizes, it would be $185 per person. So getting a second year flat, it does not have to be more expensive than first year. Per week, utilities is about £11 for us. Accommodation is just going to be one of those things that you know you're gonna have to pay. London is expensive. You can try to find a cheaper place, of course, to live for second year. This is kind of a non-negotiable expensive London thing. Rent. There you have it.
Oh.
Do you want to sit in the chair and say how much you spend in a week? This is my friend Adam. He does med at UCL and he's gonna tell you how much he spends in a week.
I think I'd spend about £110 a week.
£110 a week? Okay.
Yeah, roughly there.
Roughly. And what would you say you spend most of your money on?
Food. Going out to eat, always.
Yeah.
Because I don't think ahead and I don't prep lunch. And then I wake up too late to make a lunch, so then I have to go out for lunch. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
Thanks for your response. But now we're gonna move on to some things that are a bit more controllable with our own expenses. Food is a big category. It's actually what I spend the most money on because there's so many restaurants and my friends and I like to eat out. But this is definitely more within our sphere of control. Because UCL is near Tottenham Court Road, we actually have access to quite a few grocery stores. I shop at Lidl because I found that is the cheapest one so far. Normally for groceries, I'll spend about £20 to £30 a week. The other main store that I shop at is Asayo, which is a Korean grocery store, and that's just where I get a lot of my Asian food. Now where the food category is going to go up in cost is when you add in eating out. If you just only eat in, you can actually save so much money. Now for eating out, I would say most main meals are going to cost somewhere between £7 to £15. This can add up really quickly, and I try to limit myself to eating out 2 times a week. So if we're on the higher end of the spectrum, that's another £30. I personally really love to eat out and I don't really go clubbing or anything. The cost that I would be spending on clubbing tickets or alcohol, I instead put to food. So not including rent, let's say we spend about £60 a week on food and eating out. How much do you think you spend? How much do you spend in a week as a UCL student in London?
I think like 80-ish pounds.
Okay, and what would you say you spend the most money on?
Ooh, eating out.
Yeah, that seems
Eating
to be a
out.
common theme with our friend group. Now we're going to add travel costs. Cool thing about living in central London is it's pretty much walkable to anywhere depending on how much energy you have and how much time you have. I could easily get around for an entire week without having to use the tube or take any buses. But maybe you're living a little farther away in second year, or maybe you want to go travel to like South Kensington or something and you want to take the tube. I don't blame you, that's like an hour walk. So the TfL is going to charge you depending on how far you go and how many zones you go through in London. I would say though that you're probably not going to use this that frequently, so per week I'm going to put travel costs, which includes the bus, the tube. I'm gonna cap this at maybe £10 a week. Actually, no, I'm gonna lower it. I'm gonna say £5 a week. If you find that you are taking transportation a lot, it might be a really good idea to get an Oyster card. This gives you a third off all your journeys. It is like a fee that you pay for the entire year, but you can apply it to your Oyster card, which means you also get a third off travel within London. Another tip, if you're new to London, I would download City Mapper. This app is honestly a lifesaver. It gives you a ton of different options of transportations on how to get to where you want to go, and I found that this is like the best GPS for cities. So currently we're only at £65, not including rent. I'll just ask, okay, how much would you say—
Wait, do I look at you or the camera?
How much would you say you spend in a week as a UCL student in London?
I'd say roughly 70, no, not 70, that's way too low. Maybe like 80 to 100 pounds.
Okay, and what would you say you spend the most money on?
Groceries. Because, you know, we go to Lidl, Oseo, Sainsbury's, all the different ones. It all adds up.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Add socializing on top of this. Once again, this category is largely controlled by you and I guess also your friends. There are a lot of free things that you can do in London, like going to different museums, checking out different markets, that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, most socializing, even if you just go to a cafe, you're probably gonna want to buy a coffee, or if you want to go out clubbing, you're gonna have to pay for clubbing tickets and, you know, some alcohol for prees, that kind of stuff. Society events also sometimes cost money depending on the materials and the activities that you're going to be doing. Socializing, I'm gonna put it to about £20 a week. So now we are at £85 a week, not including rent. This is how much I would expect to pay in a week if I'm, you know, socializing, eating out twice a week. As you can see, there are definitely a lot of ways to cut back on this. I would really strongly encourage you guys to keep a record of what you're spending. I use Notion and I kind of just write down what I'm spending and the category that it's in, so I know like where most of my money is going. I know some people use Excel spreadsheets, Word. You can kind of use whatever you want. I think a table format is usually the easiest, and as long as you're keeping track of those expenses, it's gonna help keep you accountable and just show you where your money's going. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful and kind of gave you some insight. Also, I got all the responses from Instagram and I added it up, did a little division, and it turns out that the average amount is £123 per week. Now, keep in mind, for some people, I wasn't sure if the number they put included their rent or not. Did a little judging around for that to try to like estimate. But it also seems that most people are saying they spend about £100 a week. So I guess that is like a good estimate. £100 not including rent. So with that said, I know money is a really big factor when choosing university and deciding to live in a place like London. I hope that this video kind of helped make that process a little bit easier in deciding, and yeah, so bye!
When I'm with you, that's not a lie. Well, maybe you could be my solace. Only
Bobo, I think.
Bobo.
That's definitely not making it.